additional comment?
No, sir, other than, I will make one comment. The planning staff has been out and done an inspection of the building. This is for an ABC permit. It requires that we determine whether the zone is appropriate, whether the construction of the building and facilities inside of the building are safe, and whether the fire marshal looks at it as far as fire extinguishers, exit lights, entrances, those kinds of things. We're in the process of reviewing that now. Nothing's been signed off paperwork-wise. But what the planning staff is looking at and the other code officers are the things up to code. It's not an approval of an ABC permit. An ABC permit is what is at issue here. And in addition, I'm not sure the formal process when it goes to the city manager, but there's a portion that goes to the city manager, and I believe the police chief also does a review of the applicant or what have you, to some degree, to determine if this person is the right type of person to operate that business. The final decision, from what I understand, goes to the ABC board in Raleigh, whether to issue an ABC permit. But that's kind of where we are with it right now as far as our staff.
Thank you, George.
Yes, sir.
I don't have.
I was just going to try, I guess, respond to the city manager and Chief Hinton in relation to if it did come to you. And I'm trying to get together what you just said. You just said if it came to them, they had an option of yay or nay in that. Is that what I heard, or maybe the attorney may need to answer that.
While they're discussing this, let me make a comment. Everyone in this room knows my background. And I sit here, and I've heard the same story time and time again. Many, many years. If I would encourage this council to take every step possible with the owner sitting here to deny this request, if it comes to that, but just do the right thing, and I know these men will, because this, I can assure you, 40 years in police service, you will hear it again, gentlemen, I promise you. So, just let's look at every legal means we have. And George, nothing against you. Having a fire extinguisher out there is good, but when the shooting starts,
that's right.
That makes a difference to me, as far as I'm concerned. I don't have a vote, but I encourage these gentlemen here to take whatever means is necessary to stop this from occurring.
And again, I know George too. I know he's just doing what is before him. But then after he does that, then it's up to. But could you?
I'm sorry, counsel. I spoke with Gilbert, and he agrees with me. It's inappropriate for us to comment while the investigation is still going on.
Okay. Okay.
George, can you lay out the background on the building was closed down, and that affects the zoning if it's not operating as a pool hall for 180 days.
Yes,
can you give us how that goes? Set the stage.
Absolutely. If a business is closed for 180 days, and this particular operation is a non-conforming business. At one time, the property was zoned B4 commercial, which allows a pool hall. Now it's zoned B2 commercial, which is neighborhood business, which does not permit a pool hall. It permits a restaurant, but not a pool hall. Okay. In May of last year, the ABC permit was withdrawn, voluntarily withdrawn by the business owner due to some activities that have been mentioned that took place. And so what we looked at, I kind of assumed initially that it had not been operated as a pool hall since last year in May, which was more than 180 days. A new owner, not a new owner, but a new leaseholder lessor agreed, said he wanted to came in and wanted to get a permit. I said, well, it's been closed more than 180 days. During that time, Mr. Everett, Travis Everett, the owner, contacted me and said that it had been leased out on 2 occasions, and he probably had some more. I think I kind of alluded, there may have been some other times that it was leased out. So it was not discontinued continuously for 180 days. He furnished to me some copies of some bills he had sent out showing who rented it. The name, he gave the name, but didn't give the address. He just keep it confidential to a point. If I need it, I think he said he provided to me. Showing 2 different occasions. One time was in April, I believe, of 08. And I think the other one was in November 13, 14, 15, 15, 16, 17 of 08, which was right before Christmas time. And he also furnished copies of some bank statements that indicated money had been deposited in the bank for the amounts that were on the invoices that he had. He also furnished electric bills, water bills, which really would not be relevant because anyone can keep that in a building as far as, things of that nature. But he furnished those things. Then I looked at it and my determination was that it had been used as a pool room. It was not discontinued 180 continuous days. And that was the land use administrator can make a decision based on whatever information he has. I understood that some owners had said, and some I talked to several people because they expressed a lot of concerns about it, and they had in the past as well. But I expressed to them that, if somebody just tells me something, I've got some documentation, and I have to go with the documentation. That's what I'm trying to do.
Right.
I understand the situation, and it's a difficult situation.
It is. Well, George, wouldn't the 2 tournaments you mentioned, or 2 uses, wouldn't that be more incidental use and not as an ongoing business? I mean, that's the way I see it, incidental.
But it's approved as a pool room, and it was used as a pool room. Whether it's once a month, twice a month, or every 180 days, he can do it one day and do it again for 180 days, it's still a continued use.
What about the license?
I know it puts you in
and it's pretty difficult for us to document those kinds of things. It really is.
I know it puts you in a difficult spot. What you have to do, I guess, is to sign off on something saying that it's zoned properly. Is that right? For him
Yes,
to get his
it has to be said it's zoned properly.
Right.
The building, code-wise, it meets the code, and fire code-wise, it meets all the requirements of the fire code. There's 3 different sections. Scotty Jean signs off on it, Brian Hathaway signs off on it, and then I sign off. And all that is an approval of the zoning,
Right.
those 3 things. It's not an approval of the ABC permit itself.
I understand. My argument would be that it was closed for 180 days, and therefore the zone for a pool hall doesn't apply. Phyllis, do you have to sign off on for the ABC permit? Is that right? Mayor and council, and George, I appreciate the difficult position you're in. I understand that. Mayor and council, I would ask you to consider this, that we direct the city manager to withhold the signature. Gilbert, do you have something?
There you go.
I'd like a city attorney to ask the council to defer that for the time being. And the basis for it is, Mr. Gurley said earlier, which I didn't realize, and I had done some checking on it also at council's request. I understood him to say that there was still some ongoing information that he was gathering and so forth. So I'd like to ask the city attorney for the council to hold off on that and not take any action until that investigation is complete.
Okay. So we get a report on this next council meeting, George, as to where you're at, and this is a pretty serious issue for the community over there, and I think it's our responsibility to make sure that the safety of the neighborhood is the top priority. And I appreciate the report next council meeting.
Thank you, George.